Yes, so Hairless here. This is another new artist to the channel, Aurora. Aurora is Norwegian and this song is called Runaway. It's a performance from the 2015 Nobel Peace Prize Concert, so it's a live performance. She would have been about 19 at the time. I don't know this song and I don't know anything by Aurora, at least by name. The official video has 641 million views on YouTube, so it's clearly a very well-known song. She originally wrote this before she was even a teenager, so when she was about 11 years old. I don't know how much that will translate into this particular performance. Is the arrangement changed? Are other aspects of the original song significantly changed? I don't know, so there's not too much point in me speculating. The lyrics are definitely interesting. You can see them on screen now if you want to pause and read through. These are lyrics that can be interpreted in many ways, full of potential metaphors. Even the more objective repeated lyrics, such as "Take me home where I belong," can be seen as metaphorical. Where is the home she's speaking of? Is it a physical location or is it a mental state? I have been recommended Aurora a number of times in the comments before, so I'm curious to see what she's about. Let's get straight into it.
Listening to the ocean, I saw a face in the sand, but when I picked it up, then it vanished away from my eyes. And I had a dream I was 7, climbing my way in a tree. I saw a piece of heaven waiting in patience for me. And I was running far away. Would I run off the world someday? Nobody knows, nobody knows. I was dancing in the rain, I felt in love and I can't complain. But no, take me home where I belong. I can't take it anymore.
Ooh, this is interesting. What a unique voice she has. And the song itself, an 11-year-old writing that? Alright, let's go over and analyse what we've heard. There's a fair bit going on already. It seemed like it was about to grow, so here's probably a good first pause point. If you don't want to hear my analysis, go to the timestamp. Well, I mean, the opening for a start, immediately interesting. This bare third. It's actually a 10th, but if we move them close together, it makes a third. So let's do that. The first chord is a minor third, if we finish the chord. But then the second one is a major third. And if we finish out that chord, usually changes between the major and the minor. They're not that obvious and they are necessary and prevalent. It's just how music mutates as it goes on. But this is all we hear right now. One minor chord, one major chord. So it's quite ambiguous, harmonically speaking. Then when she repeats them, those chords, the triads, they're filled out very briefly. And they're those chords that I just played. So they've been filled out, the harmony is filling up, but then, immediately afterwards, it's reduced again.
I was listening to the ocean.
Very archaic sounding octaves. So, you know, the harmony's been removed and we've gone back to square one. Harmonically bare, there's no third this time. The third note, it's removed. So we don't know if we're major or minor. Unlike the very first chord we hear. Arguably, this is a message of uncertainty. There is another female singer on stage with her. Clearly, technology is at hand in this performance, for example, this drum machine type thing we have. And we're hearing a lot of voices, so maybe I'll find out later on, but right now I'm wondering, is Aurora herself being looped? Or is it the backing singer or singers? Or is it a pre-recorded track being used? I imagine it's all done live there. Or maybe it's even where the singer sings, and whatever notes they're playing on the keyboard comes out sounding like a choir, kind of like live multi-voice tracking. The lower backing vocals could easily be this. They're extremely synthetic sounding. Yeah, very cool. Now, Aurora herself, she's very emotive. She's standing completely still, but there's a lot of body movement.
Climbing my way in a tree, I saw a piece of heaven.
I get the impression she's very at one with nature, or at one with comfort of the body as its natural self. Yeah, and she's barefoot as well. Overall, it's quite a mystical presence, quite enchanting. Her voice definitely plays a part.
Heaven waited in patience for me.
It's a combination of the timbre, the accent, for example, how she says I,
But when I picked it up,
where she places accents, as in stresses, within each melodic line, even the breaths that she's using. She's mostly been using her chest voice, so her full voice, but she does seem to be able to seamlessly transition straight into her head voice.
when I picked it up,
The top note of that phrase we just heard, picked it up, that's a blend of voices, so kind of halfway between the chest voice and the head voice.
picked it up, then it vanished.
And conversely to that, she has great voice control because she purposefully puts breaks as well between the two voice types.
Heaven waited in patience.
In my other videos, such as with Diana Ankudinova, I like to call these mini yodels. And even the next phrase, she starts very, very, very briefly in her head voice. Not to any words, kind of just like a head voice noise before then continuing with the rest of the phrase in her chest voice. But sounding less like a sheep being strangled than I do. So up until this point musically, things have been kept quite restricted. Quite archaic sounding, as I said, kind of menacing to be honest.
And I was running far away. Would I even love the world someday?
Now things are picking up. Her melody becomes a repeated dotted rhythm pattern. It's more energetic.
And I was running far away.
This is interesting because the music, it's in a particular meter or a time signature called 6/8. This refers to how many beats there are in a bar or in a measure. Let me quickly write out the melody. So 6/8, it means that we have 6 of these notes in a bar. It's a clever choice to use 6/8 because it's very flexible. The more swingy melody of hers has us thinking in twos, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. But if we play that together with the beat, it sounds strange, right? That's because we have 8 notes in her melody versus 6 in the underlying rhythm. Notice at the end of the phrase, these red notes, she switches to equal rhythms on 3 notes. So if we take just those 3 notes and repeat them over and over with the beat, we get... So they work with the underlying beat, or this underlying rhythmic foundation upon which her melody is built. It's very easy and very painless to change things up, to make them different by not actually doing too much. This allows her to create all these different rhythmic musical feelings. And the airy head voice harmonious ahs in the background.
I was dancing in the rain. I felt in love and I can't complain.
They really add to this changed feeling now. I also noticed that she doesn't seem to use vibrato much when she sings, so her voice isn't wobbling. If we take this as an example,
Get anymore.
I was thinking that she might grow into the note and then vibrato comes towards the end of the note, as we often see. A lot of singers tend to naturally do this. She doesn't, and she has a very, very direct way of singing. It's very recognisable, very intriguing. And that was where we got to pretty much, so I think let's carry on.
I was painting a picture. The picture was a painting of you, and for a moment I thought you were here, but then again it wasn't true. And all this time I have been lying, lying in secret to myself. I've been putting sorrow on the forest place on my shelf. Da-dee-da. And I was running far away. Would I even love the world someday? Nobody knows, nobody knows. I was dancing in the rain. I felt in love and I can't complain. But no, take me home where I belong. I got no
Ooh, yeah, I don't know how to describe it. I mean, it's clearly changing again now, suddenly calmer, but this is also where we get loads of repeated lyrics. But I kept running for a soft place to fall, I think, based on the lyrics we saw earlier. Yeah, let's pause again here and just go over what we've just heard in that past minute or so. So from where we carried on, the synth part really sticks out to me.
The picture was a painting of you, and
we get these triadic arpeggios. So these are the two chords that we're hearing. They've opted for minimal movement. They could have also played these two chords with the B on the bottom, for example, considering that the second chord is B major, and that would look like this. But doing it the way they did, where instead of this chord first, it's this. It places a bit more harmonic certainty on the G sharp minor chord because we've got G sharp as the root at the bottom compared to the kind of ambiguity we got at the beginning. And then it progresses to be twice as quick, that pattern in the synth.
saw on the forest place on my shelf.
It is quite quiet, not too noticeable, but noticeable enough to add some rhythmic urgency to the music. The arpeggiated figure now as well, it's extending beyond those two chords in terms of pitch. It's going much higher. It's more free. It seems like there's more freedom. I mean, at this point, things in general, they're kind of getting a bit more, I don't know, intense? Or I don't know, I feel like the music has more conviction at this point. It's a transformed feel.
The forest place on my shelf. Da-dee-da.
I mean, what are the lyrics at this point? Here they are on screen. To me, they seem like a moment of emotional awakening or realization, maybe. And the last line, la-di-da. I imagine this to be a kind of carefree feeling, like la-di-da-di-da, or kind of oblivious. I don't know, I picture someone without a care in the world, skipping down the road, minding their own business. I didn't want to embarrass myself though, so I did Google la-di-da. And apparently it means upper class or pretentiously elegant. I'd like to think that Aurora means what I thought it meant about the carefreeness, but let me know if that isn't the case. Alright, so then there's this bit which in particular I'm finding very catchy.
I was dancing in the rain, I felt in love and I can't complain. But don't take me home.
It's the same section that we went over earlier, talking about the rhythms and the sheet music and the 6/8 meter, but this time she's further adjusted the rhythms for even more variety and even more of a contrasting and changed feeling, ever so slightly.
Oh, I was dancing in the rain.
You know, it's so subtle, but it really does make a difference. And just after that is a moment where things kind of open up.
I felt in love and I can't complain. But don't take me home where I.
Almost heavenly is the first thing I think of. We've got bright light whites, these very angelic oohs high up in the head voice in the background. We also get cymbals crashing at that moment. And they're often used for climactic moments. And there's another percussion addition as well. We hear the and something else as well really stood out to me, and that's this. It's this bass drum sounding instrument, but it's pitched. I imagine it's probably done on that cool drum machine we saw. It has a pitch. There. Dum, dum. And I'm expecting it to repeat, and then next time when it should repeat, it is there, but it's just much quieter this time, barely audible, and then it comes later and it's loud again. So these kind of expectations that the music's setting for us and we think something's going to happen and it does, but slightly different, it's a good way of keeping us engaged. She's doing it, the music in the background's doing it, it's the same but different. There's a lot going on here in general, as we can tell. There's a much thicker texture. There are a lot of musical layers across many different instrumental sounds, and within each of these layers there's a lot of variance. Alright, let's carry on from where we got to. It seemed like things were getting calmer.
For a soft place to fall, and I kept running for a soft place to fall, and I kept running for a soft place to fall, and I kept running for a soft place to fall. And I was running far away. Would I run off the world someday? But no, take me home where I
it's weird. Her face, her emotions. She doesn't have an emotive face. Her face seems quite deadpan. But at the same time, I think that makes it very expressive because the smallest movement with her eyes, if they open just a tiny bit, it just seems much more expressive. It's very difficult to comprehend or to put into words. I don't know if anyone else thinks the same or has any idea what I'm talking about. Yeah, certainly a very unique voice. Interesting song, cool song. 11 years old. As I said in the introduction, I wonder what she had in her mind as an 11-year-old compared to this final product, this live performance. How much has changed? Let me know if there are any performances of her when she was 11, 12, 13 performing this. It would be cool to see. All right, let's just go over some final few things there. Yeah, I mean, there's something very ethereal about it.
For a soft place to fall.
From that sound on the synth we're hearing, all the way through to the amount of reverb, the echoes, especially on her vocals, there's a lot.
And I kept running for...
Even the lighting, the other musicians are now in the darkness. She is this lone figure in the light.
And I kept running for a soft...
Very, very unique, recognisable voice. Towards the end, we got a lot of these repeated notes, this B4. And she's singing it in her chest voice. There's definitely a power to her voice. Even though a lot of the singing that we've heard has been calmer and more airy and delicate. As I mentioned earlier, she's not really using vibrato at all. The top of this phrase that I'm about to play though, I feel like there was a tiny bit. Right at the end there on that top note. And from that, I get the impression that she has a very rapid vibrato. Again, right at the end. You know, it's so quick, almost to the extent of being shaky when two things don't quite make contact and they're like, shh. It reminds me of a bird or something, and I do not know why. And building up towards the end, there was this climax section, slowly increasing the number of layers that we're hearing, what they're doing as well. One example is those oohs we hear in the background as backing vocals. Then they're joined by this harmonic line in the vocals, harmonising with Aurora. I think that's particularly catchy. And her facial expressions, again, when she finished there, I'm not quite sure how you'd describe that. Is that relief, shock, surprise, sadness that it's over? I don't know. Very interesting. And interesting is the word I'm going to use for this performance. There's a lot going on. Didn't know what to expect. Even when I was listening to it, I didn't know what to expect because things I was familiar with were changing, some by a lot, some by a little bit. It was keeping me engaged. Her voice, very, very interesting, very unique. The song itself, I definitely preferred some bits to other bits, that's for sure. And overall, I think it is pretty nice. It would, of course, be interesting to hear other versions of this song. The popular version that has 641 million views on YouTube. Live performances, I know, sometimes can be significantly different to studio versions. So I guess we'll see what's in store for the future. Let me know in the comments other songs by Aurora you'd like me to react to in the future. Thank you again for this reaction, and thank you to everyone for watching as always. Would appreciate a like and subscribe. If you enjoy my content, want to support me, join the community or vote on future polls, you can do so by joining the Patreon or YouTube memberships linked below, and I will see you next time.